very good evening to you. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Y254 TV. I hope you're having a lovely evening today. My name is Cheryl Blessing, and I am your host for the Power Talk Show. And we've been having some amazing conversations on this platform consistently. We've talked about various things from overcoming challenges to being motivated, staying on top of your goals, and achieving everything that we've set out. That's just to name a few. And I think one of the things we've never really touched on this platform is the sports sector. We have so many sportsmen in the country who've done some amazing jobs representing us internationally. And the one aspect that we've never looked at are the people who participate in the sporting events who are abled differently. They may have a visual impairment, they may have a physical impairment, but it doesn't hinder them from participating in these events and excelling, which is such an amazing feat. So we want to honor two of the gentlemen who've been doing this actively, consistently, as recently as a few months back, where they have won gold and silver. So I want us to get into the conversation, talk to them, and find out how it is for them to experience life differently and to be able to overcome and go above and beyond what most people do not really even think of accomplishing. Joined on set by Jairus Ongeta, and he is a winner of gold for the 100 meters and the 400 meters sprint. He won recently in Dubai, the Grand Prix competition. How are you?
Very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure to have you here on set.
Thank you for having me.
And next to Jairus, we have another amazing sportsman. We have Samson Ojuka, who is a long jumper. He is the winner of the silver. You're the current winner of the silver for the Paralympic, the Paralympic competition that was going on last year,
Yes,
was it?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
It's such an honor because, first of all, let me be honest, I've never been a very sporty person. So people who participate actively in sports, I know it takes a lot of dedication and sacrifices. And I think more so when you're facing a challenge, it's even more difficult. But for the guys who we have here, for Jairus and Samson, they have overcome and they've gone above and beyond, and they said we're setting the bar. And that's what we want to get into today. We want to talk to them and find out what it's like for them to go through life and experience some of the challenges that we may not have, but for them to decide, regardless of all this, I am going against all odds and I'm shooting for the stars, because that's the thing that we talk about. So this evening, I want to engage with you. I want to hear from you. And the question that I have asked on our social media platforms is, if you lost any of your abilities today, be it your sight, your hearing, your mobility, if you lost any of your abilities, how easily would you adapt to the world around you? Will it be something that will be a challenge for you, or would you adapt very quickly? How would you take on that challenge? If you lost any sense, if you were challenged to either lose something, what would you do, and how would you easily adapt to the life, the world around you today? And this is something that I think I'm very passionate about. While I was talking to Jairus and Samson, I told them, because I've seen so many people who they inspire me, because I see people who are challenged, and sometimes because I'm short-sighted, I'm like, oh my God, it's a struggle for me to do this and that. And we make some of the excuses sometimes without really realizing that there are people who live through these lives, go through these experiences, and they go above and beyond. They do not focus on it as a hindrance, the way sometimes we like to make excuses of some sort. So I want to start from the very beginning. I want to start from your childhood. I want to figure out what was the setup at home for both of you. So let me start with Samson. Could you just give us an insight of what your life was like? What family did you grow in? Where were you born? Where were you raised? What was the environment like?
Okay, thank you very much. For me, it was, I was born in Komarok, Eastlands. Yeah, it borders Kayole, which is a ghetto. So for me, it was pretty normal because I had siblings and they used to treat me the same. So I never noticed as a child. You know, a child doesn't notice things.
Yeah.
So like playing with the other kids and other stuff, it was pretty normal for me. There are schools for people with disabilities, but I did not go to such schools because, like I said, my parents even didn't know those schools exist. So they just treated me normally. And me, I can say that the transition was smooth because I came to notice later when I was around class 7 that, hey, that my arm, I have a disability on my arm, and that it wasn't a shock because I was now used to doing everything. I had adapted to using one arm, and it was pretty smooth for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I like that you've painted that picture because genuinely we believe that the home setup, the environment that you're raised in greatly influences who you become and sometimes how you perceive things. I like that you've said you grew up, everyone around you didn't make you seem like there's something missing about you, and that was very, very healthy. And I think that also it adds value into who you are as an adult. I like that. What about you, Jairus? Was it a similar situation, or what was your childhood like?
So myself, I was born in Nyamira County. For my family, and my family was okay, was totally okay, so they treated me okay. Then I have a brother of mine also has albinism. So the challenge came in with the rest of the kids. So for me, as opposed to Samson, for me, the children used to tease me a lot because, like, for that time it was just me and my brother who I knew had albinism. So I think we looked different from them because we were white, and then they were wondering where this guy is coming from. So it was difficult, especially like even playing with the other kids. They teased us a lot, so I never played as much with the rest of the kids when I was very young. So this was until I was around 6-7 years. Then now my mom took us to a special school where now we met other kids with albinism, and so I think from there now I started to know, oh, there are others who have albinism, and I adapted from there.
Yeah. I like the stories, the way they're so different. And earlier we were just talking about the way kids can be so mean. And sometimes we may not be aware. You know, when you're a child, sometimes you're just teasing someone because everyone else is doing the same. Or you call someone something because kids are not really aware. So I think it's up to the adults to educate the children. So Samson, did you feel like in your community, the adults were a bit more self-aware and they would probably tell the kids, be kind, be gentle, be aware that he has this, but don't talk to him about it? Do you think that helped your upbringing?
If they did, probably they probably did, but I didn't notice because, as I said, my setup was pretty. I think I came to notice by myself when a bit later in life, because we used to play football and I was very rough, and I think I can even say I was a bully myself because. I never noticed something was very different, but growing into it, growing my life after that, I came to realize, and it really helped because I can feel like it helped me in a way because now I can say I had a normal upbringing. So I just had to transition.
Because perhaps, you know, when you're a child, you don't really, I don't think there's ever an awareness. You don't think too much about things. And I have some younger kids around, and it makes me, I was just talking to a shopkeeper today. I bought her daughter biscuits, and I was asking, do you want biscuits with something? This girl didn't care about what I was going to say next. She was sat down, opening her pack of biscuits, ready to just eat it. So kids are usually not very perceptive or aware of everything else around them. So it helps when the adults will check them, when the adults will tell them this is right, this is wrong. So I'm imagining in Nyamira, it's a bit more, you're in a rural setup, so it's a bit more reserved. The communities, the mindsets of the people are not as exposed in contrast to being in Nairobi, in the city. So how was it? How did you feel like the adults handled the situation when you were a child? When maybe your parents saw other kids teasing you, did you talk to them about it? Did you feel safe enough to say, I feel bad when I play with so-and-so, and address it somehow? Or the people around, did you see other adults taking some form of control?
Yeah, so actually the truth is, yeah, the difference comes in terms of like the environment. So for me, growing up in the rural area, of course, most people had never experienced or seen someone with albinism. So of course,
Yeah.
they'd see it as something different. Though I was very young then, so I can't say I really remember like the actual experiences with the adults.
Yeah.
So the most experiences I remember are just with my peers, the kids we played with. But I know my parents were supportive. So growing up now, of course, the environment adhere things of like the stigma that came with albinism. So you know, there's this belief like not knowing how can two black parents have a white kid. So that was there, but none I had like directly from my end. Yeah. So because now after my 7th year, now we were taken to the special school, which was a boarding school.
Yeah.
So I'd mostly stay in school. Then we now moved from Nyamira, and my mom used to stay in a different place in Kapsabet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And I like the innocence of being a child. I think it's very, when you're a child, life is easy. It's all rosy, and you're just floating through life, not knowing if this is wrong, that's right. But I'm imagining the way you've said, Samson, for Jairus, he was taken to a special needs school at some point later on, but you did not ever experience that. You went through the regular school with every other kid. So do you think it will have made a difference if you went to a school with people with maybe some physical challenges? Will it have made a difference in who you are today, as opposed to you going to the system that you went to?
I think for me, I would have loved to have known that there were schools, there were special schools for people with disability, but we didn't know. So I went through the normal school system, the private school, the national school. I also went to a normal national school. So I went to Maseno. I was in Maseno in Western. So even in school, I used to play like football, play a little bit of rugby also. Yeah, because I used to love the rough aspect of it. Yeah, so for me, I'm grateful that my life went the way it did, because through that way now I was able to discover my sporting talent. And everything. So I can say that my life just followed its course to this point.
Yeah, as it was meant to be.
As it was meant to be.
I really like that. And I think also growing up in like Comarock, it toughened you up.
Yeah.
Because at some point when I was a kid, I was in Comarock for some years. And I know that environment will make you, it sharpens you a bit, because it makes you street smart and also very aware. But I can imagine it's kind of different for Jairus, because especially in a context where you're in a reserved community, a community where people, especially in rural areas in Kenya, I don't know, like back in my village in Western, if they see something out of there, they're like, nah, we're not sure about that. It looks like witchcraft or something, you know? To this day, there's some beliefs, like my mom cannot sit and watch an owl anywhere because she has that belief. So unfortunately back then, I'm imagining there's no exposure, there's no internet. The only phone is probably the one at the marketplace. So there's no source of information or just, you know, enlightenment on it. So going to the special needs school definitely helped you. It helped you see that there are people like me and it's okay. So I'm wondering, because so many people, when we talk about albinism, we are not aware. We focus on the skin condition and what we can see. But what other challenges come with the condition? What other challenges do you face physically because of the albinism?
Okay, so like the challenges are mostly two. So mostly it's just the effect of the sun and the eyes. So I think mostly the eyes is usually for us the main issue, because if you ask any person with albinism if they want to change, if they were given that opportunity to, you know, change their skin color, I don't think, I've never had anyone who said they would want to change. But now maybe for the vision. So it comes with low vision. So because our eyes are nystagmus, they move. So it's hard to have them corrected to 20/20 vision. Yeah, so we have to adapt using prescription glasses. So that's how we survive. It usually corrects a bit, but not as much because of the nystagmus aspect. You're not able to get into like the way like anyone else can go to an ophthalmologist and get a prescription that assists them to boost their vision a lot. Like for example, mine is not as much. When I have my specs on or not, usually the ratio is very small. Yeah, so that is the main challenge for me, like just having that low vision. But then the skin condition now is because the only issue we have is now the sun. The sun is the enemy. When you stay too long in the sun, there's a lot of burns and all that. So that has been the challenge. And now when you are very young, especially in that rural area, that comes with stigma and people calling you names. Because there was a time in Kenya we had that issue of albinism, you know, that now moved into like, Kenya is even better. So we had a lot of cases maybe in Tanzania and Malawi, but then over time it grew. So having to answer on like what Samson had talked about as well, I can say like for me going to a special school is a 50-50 thing. So it's good, yes, I got to know there are others with albinism, which is a good thing. It helped me as a young kid, but then like looking at it now, if I was given a choice, I'd not advise like going to a special school, because the truth is, yes, you now stay with those who have albinism or someone who has a disability, for example, and you get comfortable there. But then when you come out and you go to campus or you come to the, you know, work world or in the sporting world outside, there's no special school, there's no special thing. So it's good to, like, if all of us are able to, you know, just coexist in the environment that the rest are. It's good to get to face those challenges, and that's how maybe the awareness is also done. Because if the other students in the school get to know, there's this disability, there's this thing, they get to know about it even earlier as well, which assists with awareness. But also for those with albinism or those with any other disability, get used to even staying with the others as well.
Exactly. And I like that you've brought that up, because I think awareness and education is the thing that does away with the stereotypes. And I remember what you're talking about, because there was a time when I was a kid, it was all over the papers, all over the news, because I think people were doing the human trafficking and selling organs because of, again, the traditional beliefs that we have. And unfortunately, it's kind of hard to get away from some of these beliefs if it doesn't start from the kids. If we do not teach the kids, then it's almost impossible to tell an adult you have to be accepting of someone who has one challenge or is different from who you are. So Samson, now that when you realize and you are aware, I have a physical challenge, I like the fact that you still became very proactive in sports, in school activities, because that can make someone sometimes pull back. You know, especially when, I don't know, when you become a teenager, there's also the self-consciousness of maybe you're seeing other guys interacting with other girls and you wonder, oh, how is he doing that when maybe I don't feel as confident doing that? But clearly I don't think it affected you like that. It went the other way and you were like, I'm so confident, guys, I can do anything. I'm going into sports and I'm fighting and doing all these things. So through that, what was that experience like? Did you ever feel like the other guys were trying to ever put you down about your physical challenge? Or how was your reaction to any time someone was telling you anything about you being kind of different from them? How were you reacting to those instances?
As I said, I didn't really feel like it was a challenge for me, because growing up in the same neighborhood from we've never shifted like places when growing up. So like there was this one time after I joined sports, and I didn't have a phone or anything. So like a journalist came to look for me, trying to do a documentary, and he was like asking people around, because he knew where I lived, but did not know the exact place. So like he came asking people around, he has like his arm is, and people are like people didn't know who the guy was talking about.
Yeah.
So when he finally found me and he told the guys that it was me he was looking for, it was like, like this guy, we are used to this guy. We don't see him, we don't see the problem with his arm or anything. Like I think they had even forgotten, because we had our community at the place I stay. I think they had lived with me for so long, and in fact they didn't see a disability anymore. I don't know how that worked, but trying to describe me using my arm, I think it slipped off their mind completely. Yeah.
And I like that, because I think that really portrays what Jairus is saying about being with everyone else, because you're not different from anyone else. I don't think it's such a major thing, you know, because the only people who probably would need the extra attention are the people who probably do not have any of the maybe limbs or senses completely, because someone for them to study Braille, they would need the extra attention. But society sometimes makes it seem like it's such a big deal. It's bigger than it should be. Because I can imagine for the case of Jairus, it's just that your skin is different from the Africans. You're not different from a white man, you know? It's just that in Africa we expect, you know, you should be like this, you should be like that. And it's a belief, it's a stereotype that isn't always right, because even our standards when it comes to beauty, our definitions of success, or definitions of this is what it means to be a man, or this is what it means to be a woman, who says? Literally, who says? Because every single one of us experiences life every single day. It's a new journey, it's a new experience. So it's very unfair for you to experience some segregation based on a condition that is out of your control. Okay. So Jairus, how did that affect who you are? Because I can imagine it really affected you to some extent. How did it affect you, and how did you overcome the feelings of all these people think this, and it doesn't matter what they think, it matters what I think and what I believe?
So when I was very young, I'd feel maybe left out if I wanted to play with other kids, and it was weird. But then now after joining the school, I started feeling a bit more comfortable. So over time, I started growing into knowing that, you know, this is just a normal condition, it's a genetic condition. When we got to around class 5, I don't know, we started learning, and I got to understand what albinism is. So, and then when I was around class 7, so for me, I started experimenting a lot of things. I realized I just love trying out new things, especially around sports and art. So I'd do a lot of sports in school, I'd do a lot of art, that is music, festival and drama. I'd participate in a lot of those. So I think around class 7, 8-ish, I realized I have potential in, you know, these things. I have potential in art, and that I believe gave me confidence. So from there on, I believed not any different from any other person. So like transitioning to high school, I think I'd already gotten over. So as much as there was still those things, you'd walk around and people would say things in the streets and all that, but it never got to me, I think, from that point onwards.
Yeah, I really love that. And I think sometimes, as much as being in the special needs school may not have prepared you for everything else, it plays a role in helping you to get over some of the things that you've been told or you've had, or some of the feelings that we have sometimes. Because I think finding your tribe, finding your community of people helps. And I like that both of you figured out what you want to do. Like, you got into sports at a very, very young age. So I want to hear from you as you're watching this conversation. We're having a very, very interesting conversation. I want to hear from you. Go on our platforms at Y254 across all socials, and remember, we are streaming live on X, and let us know if you lost any of your senses, be it your sight, your hearing, your limbs, anything that you consider you need every single day. What would you feel like? How would it be like for you to transition? How easily would you be able to adapt to doing everything else? Because so many times I think, when I catch the flu and then I can't breathe, I'm like, oh my God, I really thank you, because you have blessed me with the sense of smell. And we do not think that there are people who've had to go through their life without this, and they've made it work really, really well, because now it becomes normal. Actually came across a tweet today. Someone said, if you ask someone who's blind, if you know, sometimes the way we wonder, would you want this, would you prefer that, the way Jairus has said, most guys would say, I'm okay, I wouldn't really change anything, maybe just my eyesight. So the person was asking, I wonder, the way a blind man has never seen this beautiful sunset or this and that. So people were responding, and they were like, you know, you don't really know what you're missing if you don't have it to begin with. Because if you've never seen it, then you don't know, oh, I'm missing such a major thing. Because you grow to adapt, you get used to it. And I'm seeing that the arm that is challenged is your right arm. So I'm imagining you're left-handed.
Yeah.
Did you have to, were you naturally left-handed now, or did it have to, you had to make it work somehow?
I became naturally left-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I became naturally left-handed, and I've been left-handed from childhood to now.
Yeah.
So it hasn't changed. You just adapt to, and it becomes pretty normal.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the best thing, because I think people usually overthink, and we're like, how do you do that? How do you do this? And once you're in that situation, it's very easy to adapt. It's very easy for you to go through the motion, because that's your reality. And when we talk about the sun being your greatest enemy, the question that I always wonder is, now what happens? Because I want us to, in the second part of this conversation, I really want us to get into that, and you being in Dubai, because I can imagine Dubai and the heat, and competing and winning. I know right now it's probably cooler. The past few months have been slightly cooler, but I want us to get into that. But how do you go through life day by day? How do you protect yourself from the sun? Do you have to use more sunscreen? Do you have to have some protective wear or something? How do you deal with that day to day?
Yeah, so for a person with albinism, if you're able to access the sunscreen, and then if it's very hot, maybe you put on the long-sleeved outfits, you can manage well. So it's just making sure you don't forget to apply the sunscreen, and just apply well and regularly. Yeah, but now, so adapted, that is okay. So when now coming into sports, in Kenya we don't have like any indoor training facilities or that for like a track athlete.
Yeah.
So you have to train in the sun, and that is inevitable. So over time, I have to be exposed to the sun a lot, and so I use more sunscreen. But then of course, because of like the training that we do is intense, there's a lot of reps and all that, so you get to sweat a lot.
Yeah.
So even if you apply sunscreen after like 2-3 reps, it's all done. You have to reapply again. So that is usually the challenge. So I still get sunburns, because over time sometimes you forget, it happens. Yeah, but I've gotten used to it. So just getting used to know how to work around it.
Yeah. I'm also imagining, because of the outfits as well, because you have to be in vests and
exactly. Yeah.
probably
For sprinting, you can't
shorts.
run with the yeah.
So is there a need for perhaps clothing that is considerate of that?
If there's an invention that can cover, I don't know, because normally
maybe someone should listen and make it work.
Because athletes are comfortable running like in vests, for example. You'll find even people like guys with just bare chest, because usually after the training is just intense, you just need to like fully let loose to
cool down.
Yeah, exactly.
Jairus, you could be a millionaire. Just giving you a business idea.
Totally,
so let's go through the comments before we take a very short break. And the question we're asking is, how easily would you adapt to everyday life and every other activities that you have to do if you lost one of your senses? So we have from Facebook, Sherry for Eldoret is watching us live from Eldoret. Thank you so much. And Wycliffe Maure says, losing your ability unexpectedly can make something feel less than before, but accepting the reality and taking the new path is a way you can easily couple with that. Above all, accept yourself. I really like that, because especially someone who's not been born with it, it might take you as a surprise. It might surprise you, but when you accept and you find a way to move on, you'll always make it work. Alex Wajami Pishori is watching us live. Thank you. We have Albanas RJ Kaka is from Nandi Hills town. I'm in. Then Bonnie Kunati says, Nawakilisha Kunati Meru Massive. Thank you so much. Julius Morega is tuned in from Nyeri town. Thank you for watching us. And I'm still waiting for more of you guys to tell me, what would you do Because if you couldn't, maybe you lose one of your senses today unexpectedly, how would you adapt to life? Go on our platforms at Y254. I want us to take a very, very short break, but stay tuned, because when we get back, I want to get into how Samson and Jairus have succeeded. They don't just participate. These are gold and silver medalists. So I want us to get into how they did that. So let's take a very short break. Stay tuned meanwhile, and I'll see you after that.